We're still here. Not canceled.
Not yet.
We made it.
Not yet.
Kevin, we made it.
We made it. So far, so good, man.
Yeah, we're not canceled, man.
Not yet.
Why do you say not yet? It's like almost like, is that like a goal?
No,
or something like that?
I definitely don't want to get canceled. I just feel like at some point, Will Smith just got canceled. Come on, man. The king of happy, Mr. Getting Jiggy with it, got canceled.
You might, yeah, you might have a case right there.
Everybody gets canceled. It's like in radio.
I've never been canceled.
You don't make it until you get canceled.
Have I? Actually, you know what? I have been canceled.
You've gotten black
in the early years.
Yeah, see,
of being canceled.
You were canceled before we even knew what canceled was.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, E-Rock, yeah, that motherfucker, he done.
That guy is still here. Yeah. Like, yes, I'm still here, and but I survived. Yeah, being canceled.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chris Brown got canceled, still making music. You know, everybody.
I really don't like cancel culture, though.
No, I feel like the only time you can't get uncanceled is once you go to jail. R. Kelly, like R. Kelly's never coming back. Like,
no.
Bill Cosby never coming back.
But you know what though? R. Kelly has done some shit that I mean, we can't. I don't even want to talk about.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
At some point, if you go to jail, that's it. You're on the permanent cancel list.
And that is true.
Other than that, you're fine. You know, you make a social media post, you donate to a charity, you create a slut walk or something, and you're back.
Oh man, how was your weekend?
It was good, man. It was good.
It was good.
It was good. Back, you know, just feeling like I'm ready to just get back after it.
Yo, I'll tell you right now, you know, adjusting to these Las Vegas allergies. Oh my God, you can hear it in my voice.
Yeah.
I sound like an asthmatic kid.
Well, you always sound like an asthmatic kid, though.
Bro. No, I don't. No, I don't.
But I
did it earlier in the fucking day.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like I wake up congested, like, and I've got a humidifier, an air purifier. What else, man? Fucking anything that fucking does something for the air.
Yeah.
I've got it all running at once.
I know what you mean. I'm literally like looking down at my ashy ass ankles right now. I'm like,
it's dry out here.
Man, I've gone through 16 tubes of Aquaphor in 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a personal problem.
It is. I was saying it's not just for my lips.
It's not just for the ankles, man. But,
nah, man. It's the weather out here is different. Like it was driving in. It literally started storming, like a Bay Area fucking rainstorm came down, and then tomorrow's like 85 and sunny. It's wild. It's like it's literally crazy.
And then it'll be like windy.
The wind is crazy.
Like 50-mile-an-hour winds.
The wind is very
like 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's a whole different kind of thing out here.
Makes no sense, but you know, we got a big guest on the show.
I'm excited, man. This is
a good conversation.
This is one I've been looking forward to, man. Definitely, I am super excited for this one.
Chuy Gomez is joining us on the podcast. Should we bring him in?
Let's bring him in.
Let's bring him in, man. Yeah, without further ado, man. Come on, Chuy Gomez joins us on the Hot Box podcast. What's up, Tio?
¿Qué pas, Tio?
Congratulations, boys. I love it. I love this, man. You guys are awesome.
Nah, you're awesome, bro. Seriously, before we even start, though, we've talked about it, E-Rock and I privately. I personally just want to give you your flowers because what you've done for me personally, what you've done for E-Rock, what you've done for Bay Area radio, for the culture is something that not too many people can say they have. And you've always been a supporter. You've always helped me out when I was first starting out as an intern many years ago. You know, obviously we're both from South San Francisco, which is, you know, we got that hometown connection. So big shout out to all my South City folks. But again, personally, I just want to thank you for all that you've done, man. You're an amazing person.
Look at that.
I love it. I love it.
I love
Represent,
it.
baby.
I love
Represent that. But
yes, sir.
Appreciate you for all that you've done, man. Seriously.
No, it's beautiful, man. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, like a lot of people don't get their flowers while they're alive, and for me, like I'm probably gonna jump way ahead of what you guys are gonna be asking about and everything. But at one point, I was fired, and when the outpouring of support that I got from the community and DJs and everybody else was like me getting my flowers. It was so dope. Like just hearing what people thought about me being in their lives for umpteen years, you know, whether it was on TV, whether it was on the radio, and just having the outpour and support of the Bay Area was incredible. And to see that happen and to hear it while you're alive and know that you've touched so many people was just, it was like almost bringing tears to my eyes. Cause like, you know, I love what I do and I do what I love. And to be acknowledged and recognized sometimes, it's like, wow, I guess, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
like
it's a
one of those
trip.
moments where you get to kind of step back and actually see the fruits of your labor, like because you know
Right.
you've been grind mode for 30 years,
Right.
just head down, moving,
That's it.
events and hosting and radio and TV. Like sometimes you need one of those moments to kind of take a step back and be like, damn, I did this. You know
What's
what I mean?
that
Right.
saying? It's like, yo, you step off the bus to smell the flowers.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe that situation was one of those things, you know?
Yeah.
It was definitely one of those things. It was awkward. It was weird. It was unexpected. And when it happened, it just like caught everybody by surprise, including myself.
Yeah.
And then just what happened immediately after was just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's just overwhelming.
Yeah, and we'll get to it for sure. But I
Yeah,
mean, like
we'll
I
get
was
to it.
part of the kind of the team that made sure that we were
That
like,
put that
nah,
together.
man, we gotta do something for Chuy. So, but we'll definitely get to that. But I mean, your history in music and in radio and in like I said, of being an actual like factor in the Bay Area goes back years and years and years, like
Decades.
you know, walk us through it because I think, and I'm pretty sure you had this, and I told this story on our first podcast about how I kind of accidentally fell into radio, and my instructor, I think, was the person that you were working with, like back at KSOL. Was it like his name was like Marcos or what was the?
Marcos Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's the name
who
right
it is.
there.
So he was my professor at City College for this radio class that I accidentally signed up for, and you know, obviously got me to where I'm at. But take us back to like the beginning and like you know how you kind of got into the business.
No, that's funny because that was a funny story. When I met Marcos, I was at a quinceañera. My man Tony Silva, who was a great friend of mine.
Yeah.
Him and I, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gone to college in San Mateo. He actually came and picked me up. And on days when I wasn't want to wake up, we got to go to school. Wake up. I'm picking you up. We're going to go to school. And so I went to college in San Mateo with Tony, and him and I were friends before that. And then at some point, his sister was having a quinceañera, and he goes, DJ my sister's quinceañera. I said, not a problem. I said, we'll do it. So I'm DJing his sister's quinceañera, and who comes walking into the quinceañera? Marcos Gutierrez, who happened to be a neighbor of his, and he had already had a relationship with Marcos Gutierrez. And so I'm on the microphone, damas y caballeros, vamos a cortar el pastel, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut the cake in a little bit, hang tight. In the meantime, here's some music. Les voy a tocar una música aquí. Ahorita seguimos con el pastel and blah, blah, blah. So I'm doing my little bilingual thing on the mic, and he's like, yo, that's my shtick. I do that on the radio.
Yeah.
This guy's killing it over here. He comes over, he goes, hey, you want to come hang out with us or hang out with me at the radio station? And I'm like, whoa. And you got to understand, at the time, Marcos Gutierrez was the hottest on-air personality on KSOL, which was 107.7 on the FM dial. Yeah. He was the nighttime jock, and he was the hottest thing going. And for him to say, yo, come hang out with me at the radio station, do you think you want to do that? I'm like, hell yeah,
Right.
what? And so that was my introduction to being in a radio station. I had been in a radio station as a kid because my mom used to call and request songs, and one of the DJs invited me to a radio station early when I was like probably 6 or 7 years old.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
And that was my real like eye-opening experience. Like I saw the guy queuing up records because at that time they actually played records
Right,
like carts. He was queuing up records and he's putting the carts in for the commercials and he's moving switches and phone lines are lighting up and everything. And that just blew me away as a kid. Then later on, fast forward, I meet Marcos Gutierrez. He invites me to a radio station. Now I get to be in kind of like as an intern / friend. I wasn't an official intern. I was just his homie that came down and hung out and pulled his commercials, pulled his music, and helped edit some of his commercials and doing that sort of stuff behind the scenes. So that's kind of like my introduction of how I got into radio early on, right out of high school.
Damn, that's crazy. I didn't know the story about like you know getting into the studio when you were a kid, and that's kind of like I guess probably where like your love for radio kind of started. Which you know I never was in the studio, but I mean you know I grew up on you and Rosary and you know the Doghouse and Man Cow and you know Franzen and Trace and Sway and like that's like you're a part of like my growing up. So yeah, like kind of crazy that you know we both share that kind of launch pad into radio through Marcos Gutierrez. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And, you know, he's always been real active in the community. He's still active right now. He's on an AM radio station in San Francisco, La Grande 1010, and, you know, he's out there and he's definitely real politically involved and likes to bring information to the people. So he still grinds it out even now.
Big shout out to him, man. Big shout out to him. When did the whole officially like when did you have that aha moment where like, okay, I can actually make a career out of this? Like at what point did that start at what station where you're like, okay, I'm not doing nothing else. Like it's going to be radio for me.
Well, it's funny because I knew I kind of wanted to do radio, and by being with Marcos kind of like was the launch pad, obviously. But I got on there as a board op. You know, that's when they need somebody to run the board but not talk. Yep. You need somebody to play the commercials, somebody to hit the PSAs, the commercials, the music, whatever. So I was a board op, and overnight. At some point, the program director says, so what do you want to do? Do you want to be a board op forever? Or do you want to be on the radio? And I said, I think I want to be on the radio. He goes, well, I can't just put you on the radio. So continue to board op and read these couple PSAs. Then we'll talk after you have accumulated a few of these breaks on the radio. Mm-hmm. So I read these PSAs. You know, the health plan of San Mateo is offering free needles. Come on down for more information. Go to Health Plan of San Mateo.
They still do that, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm reading these PSAs in the middle of the night. And so then, so he's like, okay, cool. Okay, you're not fumbling over your words. You're reading these. You're okay. Okay. And so that went on for a little bit. Then he goes, you know, we're going to give you a chance. Go ahead and crack the mic. This will happen a few months later. Crack the mic and, you know, give me one break an hour. And so I'm cutting one break, you know, one Chuy personality break an hour.
Right.
You know, I read the PSA still, and then here's the one where I get a chance to say, hey, what's going on? It's Chuy Gomez. Here's Bill Summers and Summers Heat. Boom. Or whatever.
Wow. Do you remember exactly like what those breaks like sounded like when you first like started like, you know, cracking the mic?
There might be tapes around somewhere because at that time I was so excited to be on anything.
Right.
I think there might be cassettes somewhere in my garage. I don't know. And I'm scared to listen to them. But
I feel you.
No.
Have you heard your old air checks before?
I hate them.
Oh my God. I've heard one of my old ones.
I hate them.
It's the worst, right?
Yeah,
Worst.
It's so embarrassing.
Cringeworthy.
Were you always going? I wanted to ask you this. Were you always like from day one going by Chuy Gomez?
Yeah, I mean, that's my name. I mean, growing up as a kid, that's my nickname. I was never Jesus. My real name's Jesus, but I'd never go by Jesus. The only person that calls me Jesus is the doctor or the teachers on the first day of school. You know what I'm saying?
If someone calling you Jesus, like you in trouble or something like that, right?
Yeah. You're definitely in trouble. That's the principle.
Oh, shit.
Jesus, can I see you? But even the principals call me Chuy.
Yeah.
No, so I've always been Chuy. I just never thought about it changing it, and it's just my name. So I mean, yeah, I've always been Chuy.
I mean, you got the name is so like you're like Adele, Cher, Chuy. Like it's one name.
Facts.
Like you say one name and like
Facts.
people know who you're talking about. Like you don't even
That's
have to
funny.
mention the last name of that's how you know you made it.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
Well, take us to kind of your transition from there to when you moved over to what was it, Wild?
Well, it's funny. So I'm doing the overnights, but you know, at KSOL, I'm doing everything from doing the van because my responsibilities were driving the van, getting new decals on the van, getting new tires on the van, whatever.
Washing
So I'm
the
driving
van.
around.
intern stuff.
Right, I'm driving JoJo right to his appearances.
Right.
Me and Barry Pope are doing appearances here.
Damn.
I'm taking Dancing Mark Hansen to XYZ.
Dancing Mark
shit.
Hansen.
Dancing Mark Hansen.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that
Dave
name in
Morales.
years.
I got JoJo Wright.
That is
I
nuts.
got all these guys that I'm out hanging out with. Marcos Gutierrez, Tony Valera. You know what I'm saying? So all these guys, I'm in their circle. I'm in their atmosphere. I'm soaking up game from these dudes.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing that. Then they start letting me be on the air. So I go from doing the overnights to hosting the Saturday Night Street Party that was on at that point, we were transitioning from KSOL to Wild 107 because the station was bought,
Right.
and the name changed. So we went to Wild 107. So I'm doing the Saturday Night Street Party. I'm doing the oldies on Sunday. I'm doing the Friday night show, and I'm still doing overnights. At some point, Mancow gets hired there. He sees me and listens to me and says, yo, you need to be on my show. You want to be the Goodwill ambassador of the Mancow show? I don't care.
Yeah.
Can I still do the weekend shows that I'm doing? I don't know. Let's talk. talks to the program director. He goes, yeah. So I'm doing the morning show now. I'm the van driver, and I'm doing the little Chewy stunts for the Man Cow
we're
morning
gonna
show.
talk about that for sure.
The
And
Chewy
then
stunts, though. Wow.
Yeah, and so I'm doing that, and then I'm also doing the Saturday Night Street Party, and I'm doing the oldies on Sunday.
So you was on
and
7
then I
days
got
a
to
week.
get up again on Monday to go do the Chewy stuff with Man Cow.
Wow. So 7 days a week you were on the radio.
I'm on 7 days a week. Every day of the week I'm on, and I don't care. It's what I do.
Right.
I love it, and I'm having a blast.
Hell yeah.
I mean, when you do what you love and you can find
not
a way to
work.
get paid for it,
Not work.
Yeah,
it's not. It's
the
never
best.
work.
And
It's never
and
work.
it's addictive. Like we all know because we've experienced like that first taste of actually being on the radio. Like you can't get enough of it. Like that's.
But not just that,
man.
just because back in the day there was a family that worked and there was full staffs and you got along with each other. So when I got off, I wanted to hang out with Vaughn. When Rosie got off, she wants to hang out on my show.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out with each other, and then not only do we hang out together, but even on our events, our broadcasts,
Right. We're all going to the
supporting
clubs
each other.
together. Yeah.
So all that sort of stuff happens, and even at KSL, there was big family from Double Barrel Daryl to Melly Mel to Andy Kawanami. We all worked together over there together. Tony Valera, Donnie Afif, we're all hanging out.
Right.
So it's always been family, and so when you're there, it's not you go in for your 4 hours and you leave like a regular job. You're hanging out like all day
day.
because you want to
Yeah.
be with your homies.
for sure.
I would spend at least like probably, I'd say maybe like 12, 13, even 14 hours a day
100%.
at the radio station.
Yeah, I mean,
Easy.
When I
Easy.
first started interning, actually the first shift that I ever went out on was for Chewy's morning show. And I mean, when I would do that regularly, I'd be there from 6 a.m. and then like you said, I'd go from Chewy show to doing whatever Sana needed me to do, to going to what I think it was Super Snake at the time, doing what, like I said, hanging out
Wow.
with Drew and learning the
Yeah.
boards, and then hanging out with Vaughn at night. Like you were there all day.
You lived it.
It was like you said, it was a family environment.
And it didn't feel like you were had to be there. You felt like you wanted to be there. You were at home.
Yeah.
You had a kitchen. You had restrooms.
Right.
The only thing you didn't have was a shower there.
Right. No, but there was places to crash if you needed like a little sofa. to
Conference
pass
rooms.
on. Yeah, there was
Right.
yeah.
I've slept in the conference room at least like probably like 20 times.
Right.
I had the
Maybe-
futon in my
maybe more.
office that was used many a times by
Yep.
many of folks
for many of things.
Many.
for many of things besides sleeping.
For real.
Don't sit on the couch.
Don't-
sit on the couch.
Sana's
Be
been
smart.
there. Sana's been there, bro. Don't sit there.
Oh shit! Oh, I knew that was coming. Oh my god! Nah, but you're right, man. It's radio is crazy like that, and you know I've always said that I've made friends and relationships there
Lifetime
that are
friends.
gonna last forever and beyond.
Right.
Even my time outside of radio, after
Right.
radio,
Lifetime friends.
100%. But
How did we become friends?
radio,
Radio.
yeah, everybody.
That's
Why are we still even friends?
Are we? No, I'm just kidding.
Is that what you call us?
Right. But so the transition, like you said, from KSOL went to Wild 107 at the time, and then was that format when they were still playing like Latin music at the time, right?
No, the Latin music was being played on the mix shows, so you might hear like an Artie the One Man Party,
Right.
or something like that. But I mean, it wasn't like stuff that was in rotation. Like we weren't playing no Selena,
No.
and we weren't playing.
They did
a lot of
later
the Latin
on, like,
records.
after she
I mean,
died.
It
Wild.
was a Latin based station, so
Yeah.
our target audience was folks in San Jose and Latinos that enjoyed current pop culture, but with a Latin twist.
So at what point because obviously you've been on a lot of stations, and I definitely want to get to your new endeavor, and we want to definitely talk about that. But you're probably, and you would admittedly say you're probably most well known for your time at KMEL.
Yes,
When-
I did 20 years at KMEL, so I did 20 years. But this is the funny thing: I didn't want to go to KMEL.
Yeah.
I was
What?
happy at Wild.
Tell that story.
No, I didn't want to go to Wild. I mean, I don't want to go to KMEL. I was at Wild. I'm a Wild guy. I'm doing the oldies. I'm doing the Saturday Night Street Party. I'm heart of the Man Cow. Man Cow's on fire. People are starting to connect with us. And I had Darius. My son was born in about 92. And so I go to the program director, and Michael Martin was at the time the music director. So I go to them and I go, yo, can I get benefits, or can I get more money to buy my own benefits? Because at the time I was basically the 10-hour, $12 an hour.
Yeah.
I was on payroll, but I wasn't a
You weren't salaried.
You weren't salaried.
I wasn't salary.
Right.
So
Just
I was hour to
whatever
hour.
hours you were there
And
is what
so,
you got
I mean,
paid
I was
for.
working a lot of hours, but
Right.
I, still didn't equate to me having a bunch of money and being able to pay for insurance. So, when it's fun in games, when it's just you, it's fun in games. But now I got a kid coming out, and I'm starting to think, yo, I need benefits. Can you hook me up? No, can't do it. Can I get a raise? No, can't do it. And at that time, it's funny because there was a new program director that was taking over at KMEL named Dave Shakes.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when Keith was leaving. He was going to the beat in L.A., and they were transitioning. And one of the last things Keith said to Dave Shakes, check out this kid, Chuy Gomez, over at Wild. Maybe you can snatch him up. So he asked me to go to lunch. I go to lunch with him. And he says, yo, we're planning on making some changes over at KMEL. I want to know if you're interested in coming over. I don't know, not really. I mean, what you talking about? Well, can't really tell you what we're doing. But if you're interested in coming over, I can give you this. He hands me paper with some notes on there. That's what I can give you if you want to come over. I look at the paper. I'm like, huh?
When do we start?
What?
Sign me up.
So I go, does that include benefits? Oh, yeah, that includes benefits. That's just, your base salary. We'll discuss bonuses and everything. But,
I said, what?
okay. Can I go back and see if they can match it? I mean, thank you, but take your time. I want to make a decision soon, so don't take your time, but take your time.
Right.
So I go back, yo, KMEL just offered me this. Can you guys match that? Or can you give me benefits? Nah.
Just like that.
Yeah. There's no room. There's no money. Can't add you. We got our full-time staff. No. I'm doing full-time stuff. I'm part of the morning show. I do the weekends. No. I'm crying literally in Michael Martin's office. He can't make no decisions. He's the music director.
Right.
Okay, I got to go then. It's been nice knowing you. Thank you. Hate to see you leave, but you got to do what's best for you and your family. All right, cool. Go back to Dave Shakes. I'm like, cool, I'm down. What are we talking about now? Okay, well, cool. Well, that's your bonus. I mean, that's your salary. We're going to talk bonuses if you hit bonuses, but I'm trying to team you up with a girl named Rosary. We're going to do a new night show. We're going to team you up with this girl, Rosary. What do you think about being on with somebody? I'm like, I'm down for whatever.
Right.
So they put together this team, Chuy and Rosary, and I go over to KMEL at about 93. Middle of 93, end of 93, I go to KMEL, and it's the Chuy and Rosary show, and that's where my journey begins of my 20-year career at KMEL.
Damn, that's
20
crazy.
beautiful years, too. Man.
So you didn't
Long years.
You didn't
Long
know
years.
Rosary before the program director essentially put you guys together.
No, it's funny. I knew Rosary, and I knew Franzen, because we used to talk, because we both used to do overnight shifts.
Right.
So I used to call and talk to her on the radio, on the phone, on the request lines. And then I would talk to friends because friends would hang out with her. So I got to know them kind of sort of, she needed somebody on the radio. I would go on and request a song or do a dedication or whatever, and vice versa. She would help me out on the radio. Obviously, when you're on the phone, you sound a little different than you're on the air. So It never really clicked, or maybe it did and nobody gave a fuck. But we used to talk. So I didn't know her personally face to face, but I knew her because I used to call and I used to talk to her and friends and on the phone lines.
Got it.
So it was kind of weird.
It was one of those before social medias. You didn't know what people on the radio looked like until you met them.
Nope.
Right.
And
That's
so
crazy.
so then he teams us up and sits us down, and this is what we want to do, and that was how it began.
Damn. Well, you mentioned it earlier in E-Rock. You wanted to talk about the stunts.
Yeah, man, the Chuy stunt. Because, I mean, that was the first time that I really got to, hear the name Chuy Gomez. And that was a stunt you did for Mancal Muller, which was you stopped the traffic on the Bay Bridge to get a haircut. And this was you were making a mockery. I mean, who got a haircut on the tarmac and stopped
President Clinton.
Yes.
President Clinton had got a haircut on the tarmac at LAX. Stopped air traffic because he wanted a haircut before he went to go do whatever he was doing.
And what year is this
Mancal
again?
thought
Just
it'd
to
be
kind of
funny.
preface it.
Huh?
What year is this again?
It's got to be 92 because I didn't leave Wild at about 90. I left there about 92, so it was the beginning of 92.
Yeah.
So if you Google it, you'll find it. It's all over the news. I mean, there's still snippets. Mancal Muller shuts down Bay Bridge. and Chuy Gomez was on the bridge. So Mancal says to me, goes, I think it'd be funny if we sent our goodwill ambassador to stop traffic on the Bay Bridge, and that's you. What do you think about doing that? I'm a little like naive because I didn't really cross the bridge, so I didn't know the bridge. I'm a South City kid.
Yeah.
I don't really cross the bridge. Oakland is like hella far to me. I'm like, all right, let's go. So, not thinking 8:30 in the morning, there's hella folks on the bridge. I go out there, I do my little stunt. We stop traffic on the bridge for about maybe all of 10, maybe 15 minutes. But
It's
with
a long
that
time.
alone, that 10, 15 minutes is a long time.
Yeah.
That disrupts
Train
traffic tremendously,
reaction.
especially when you block all 5 lanes of the bridge.
How did you even?
Not
how
one,
did you
not
block,
two,
how
not
did
three.
you block all 5 lanes?
5. So when we left the radio station, it was my personal van,
Okay.
the station van, and then somebody else.
Okay.
So we go to Treasure Island to kind of like wait for our phone call or cue from Mancal to go get on the bridge. So there's 3 of us there. Somebody sees us there as we're waiting. They go, hey, what are you guys doing here? Oh, we're about to go do a stunt on the Bay Bridge. Can I come along? Sure. Now we got 4 vehicles. Wow. We're at Treasure Island waiting for our cue. We get our cue. We start driving up. We drive up like literally like this, side by side on the bridge. Get our cue, stop. We stop right after Treasure Island, which is when you get on the bridge. You get on the bridge at Treasure Island, you go, and about halfway, we stop. Put our cars in park. I jump out. The hairdresser comes out. He starts cutting my hair. Well, when that's happening, we left 1 lane open because we didn't want to get in trouble. We said, we'll leave a lane open. A big semi-truck tries to go around us. Can't really make the turn. It gets stuck, so it's blocking the 5th lane now.
Oh my God.
So now we got all 5 lanes blocked, which wasn't our intention, but all 5 lanes are now blocked.
I mean, what was
Now, you
going
stop
through
that
your
for-
head though? Like during that time, I mean,
I'm
like,
not tripping. I'm not
like,
tripping.
yo,
We're
like I would
laughing.
be shitting in my pants right now, thinking about like, yo, am I gonna go to jail? Am I like, you know, like,
That didn't even cross my mind. I didn't even
Damn.
think about jail. I didn't think about none of that. I was thinking about my haircut. I was thinking about being funny on the radio because
Right.
that's my
Content,
shtick.
yeah.
I'm the funny guy. I'm out there cracking jokes. It started getting ugly when people were honking, but it started getting ugly when people started getting out of the cars and wanted to walk towards us.
Oh shit.
At that point, I say, we are fucking up here. Like, you start seeing the helicopters now because at that time we had, traffic helicopters,
Right.
ABC's traffic, CBS traffic. There's 2 helicopters hovering, and folks are starting to get out of their cars. We go, let's get out of here. Folks are walking towards us now. It's not going to be cool. We get in our car and we split. By the time we make it to the radio station, we're all over all the news stations. Channel 2's talking about us. Channel 5's talking about us. KCBS is talking about us. KGO's talking about us. Everybody's talking about us. What a mess this local radio station, Wild 107, has done. People start calling the radio stations, start calling the news stations, talking stories. I can't make it to my appointment. I missed the meeting. I missed my airplane, blah, blah, blah. It's a shit show, bro.
and this made national news.
Oh, yeah.
as
Yeah,
well, like,
because
all
it
over
was-
the country.
It was nonsense. We're on USA Today, where you see somebody doing a story on the ABC News, nightly news and shit, and it was crazy. So that put Wild 107 on the map. We already on the come up, but KMEL was still the big dog, and that stunt is what put Wild 107 on the map. And I still couldn't get a job there.
They still wouldn't like you.
Still wouldn't hire me full time.
Still wouldn't give you benefits. All the man wanted was benefits.
Still wouldn't give me
know,
benefits.
man.
See, that's all I needed.
Well, yeah, that's
and you put it all on the line. All
Yeah.
of it on the line.
Not even knowing.
Not even tripping.
knowing. But yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, there could have been like some serious like repercussions that could have came from that for sure.
There were some repercussions. But obviously their
personally,
lawyers were great.
right, yeah.
And later on, I guess a year or 2 down the line, we ended up paying for everybody's toll on the Bay Bridge.
Which I'm sure
Ended up
wasn't
being
cheap.
millions of dollars for the radio
I'm saying,
station.
imagine if it was today's. Imagine if it was today when tolls like $9 to cross
Yeah.
the bridge.
Is
Like,
it really
crazy.
$9 right now?
I think it's like $8.
It's
$8?
Yes, like $7-8 to cross the
$8.
bridge, bro.
Yeah, I was in
it
the
is
Bay
crazy.
last weekend, and I went to Horn Barbecue in Oakland, $8.
$8.
How long did you wait at Horn Barbecue, by the way?
So I got it down to a science. I don't know if I want to give it out, but
No, we'll talk about it. But,
we'll talk about it. But
the wait is about 45 minutes, though, right?
yeah, I
Average?
mean, you're gonna wait 45 minutes regardless. But there's a better way to do it. I'll talk to you about it after because
Tell me after. We don't
everybody
give
knows
the
about
secrets.
Horn
I haven't
Barbecue.
been there yet.
Oh,
I haven't been there
my
yet.
God.
Everybody says I'm missing out.
bruh, Man, big shout out to Horn Barbecue, man.
I haven't had Horn Barbecue.
Oh my God, man. We need to, next time we're all we need to collectively in the Bay Area have like a little outing.
Cool. I've been hearing nothing but good things about them.
Is it a new spot or?
They've had their brick and mortar for probably like 2 years now.
So it's new for me then.
It's new for you.
I definitely haven't made my way around the Bay Area in quite a while.
It's definitely on the newer side, but yeah, you like I said, you went over to KMEL in like '93. You were there, 20 years. You've been a part of so many big moments, summer jams, and beefs, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about personally because music was in a very different space back then than it is now. Obviously, the Instagram rappers and social media rappers and all this, but you were there doing radio at the peak and had the opportunity, obviously, to interview Biggie, which I would love to know more about. But, what do you remember about that time, especially like with the whole Tupac and Biggie thing and being someone who was on the radio who, interviewed Biggie? And then more specifically, what do you remember about being on the radio when they passed?
I've got something to add to that too, by the way.
Okay, so being there is just being in the moment. You don't really think of how big these guys are or were. Mm-hmm. Having them in the studio was definitely awesome. Super nice guys, all of them from Tupac to Mac Dre to Biggie, all super nice. Obviously, some of us had better relationships with them, like friends, and had personal relationships with Little C's and Little Kim and Biggie. Sway was real close to Tupac. Pac, we seen around at the parties out here, at the One Up and in Marin City. We saw Mac Dre did many things with him. We was in the studio with him. He did the Chuy song on one of his albums. We went to go watch a couple of boxing matches together. He was roommates with Bijan when he first got out of jail. Yeah. So Bijan was one of my friends. So I mean, you guys know who he is.
Yeah, of course. Shout out Bijan one time.
Shout out to Bijan.
And so, anyways, Mac Dre was his roommate when he was fresh out, and so Bijan being my homie and Mac Dre being his homie, we were homies. So went on and spent some time together. But it was just a awesome time being in radio, especially when you had folks like, E40 and Rappin' Forte and Master P coming knocking on your door with gifts, the No Limit jackets and hats and etc. Yeah. It was good times in radio, and just being there when the feud kicked off was a little weird, but especially for us here in San Francisco. Maybe LA was different, but for us in San Francisco, we've showed love to everybody from, like I said, from a Master P to a Cash Money to Wu-Tang to Mobb Deep, and it didn't matter where you were from. I mean, we here in the Bay Area played all your music, whether you were down south, whether you were from Seattle with Sir Mix-a-Lot, or you were from the East Coast. So it didn't matter. Who you were, we always were down with that. And so that beef got a little funky, but not super funky for us because, like I said, we never partook in that.
Well, I remember specifically listening to the radio, and obviously this was before social media. So, you guys were the news sources. You know what I mean? We listened to the radio to find out about upcoming tours and new albums. Like there was no internet. You didn't go online and Google. Like you guys were our main source for news.
They were the authority.
Right. Yeah, because we had the trades. We would get that information. And so we were privy to this info that we had later shared with our audiences, right. And so that was definitely, awesome. I'll tell you what was crazy. I think I was on the radio already, and Selena passed. I wasn't really hip on Selena, but I was listening to the Spanish radio station on my way in to work, and she passed. And that's all they were talking about. They stopped the music. They were talking about her, and this was when her English album was about to come out. So she had one single that was already making a little bit of noise, and when I heard that, I immediately got on the phone and called Rick Chase, and I said, Rick, this girl Selena just passed. It's super big news. Maybe you want to announce it. So he made his beeline over to the program director and said, yo, this girl Selena just passed. Can I play her song? Can I acknowledge it? Well, we had that first single that came out where she had gone and was trying to break into the English market. And so he went ahead and broke the news on KMEL, and that's how the news got out, because a lot of people didn't know that, because it was only privy to folks watching Channel 14.
Right.
Or listen to a Spanish radio station.
Right.
Because like I said, at the time, she was just starting to come up. So a lot of folks didn't know who she was. I mean, the Latin folks knew who she was, but most pop culture didn't.
Yeah.
And so that was crazy to be a part of that when both Aaliyah died, Biggie, when Pac got shot, we were all there. And when that went down, and you have to announce this sort of stuff, and people start crying on the radio and calling and losing their mind, it's just weird.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say, is that I remember specifically being in the car with my mom and my sister when we were listening to the radio, and I know exactly where we're at. We were at the intersection on El Camino and like Sneath Lane right there, and we were about to turn, and they announced it on the radio that Tupac, I mean, obviously he had got shot, days past, and we knew he was in the hospital and that he was fighting. But when they announced that he passed, and I was listening to KMEL, and this was 96, so I don't remember who was doing.
I was in the studio.
Were you?
With Chuy and Rick Lee.
Okay.
When that moment happened.
And so then it was probably you who said it, but I remember that you were on the radio and you said something like, if you're out in your car right now, like honk your horn or something for, R.I.P. Tupac. And that whole intersection, I shit you not, everybody started blaring their horns at the same time in their car. And I was like it's literally giving me goosebumps, like thinking about it. Like that moment specifically was just like, wow. And like I said, that was a time when we got our information from you guys.
No, not just that, but it was funny because there was only two stations you listened to and there's tons of radio stations in the Bay Area, but either you listen to Wild or you listen to KMEL.
That was it, yeah.
And so either way, that's all you were listening to. So if you were out in your car, I remember doing shout outs to folks who would call me up. Hey, Chuy, this girl in the Honda just drove by. I know she's listening to you because we're both bobbing our head. Can you shout her out and tell her the guy in the red Mustang said, what's up?
Wow.
And so you get on the radio and you say, hey, baby girl on 880 driving the pink Honda.
Right.
Dude in the red Mustang said, what's up? And he's like, oh my God, she knows who it is, blah, blah, blah. So that was crazy. So when you said that, when I announced it and asked folks to blow their horn or turn their headlights on, whatever.
Yeah, it was headlights and horns.
It's crazy to look around and see how many people were actually listening to what you were listening to, because that's all you listen to.
Yeah.
Growing up in the Bay Area, you either listen to KMEL or you listen to Wild.
Yeah,
or you listen to both.
Radio was
at different times of the day.
Then. Yeah,
completely different.
There was radio was everything. I mean, like as a ratings
there was
guy,
no YouTube, there was no Spotify, there was no Apple Music. None of that existed. So that meant a lot, and people were locked into radio just for information, for community events and stuff like that. Yeah,
I remember being in the studio when you announced that Tupac had passed away. And I mean, I was like Rick Lee's intern at the time. Do you remember that? I was like probably like 15 years old or something like that. I wasn't even 16. But I remember Michael Erickson was the APD at the time. He rushes into the studio and he tells Rick Lee, like, yo, play all Tupac right now. He just passed away. And I remember this is like my first like big like cultural like experience. You know what I mean? And at this, like you were saying, like there was no social media. No MySpace, no Friendster, no Instagram, none of that. So people got their news from that. And I remember being at the epicenter when, when yourself, heard that, that Tupac had passed. But I remember watching Chuy through the window. Yeah, because I mean, do you remember what was it, Studio C or something? Like the mixed room was like 3 rooms down. So like you had to look through 3 windows down over at 55 Francisco. But I remember watching you do it and, feeling the moment through the speakers, and then when you turned the mic off, I remember you turned around and then you started crying. And I had never seen anything like that in my life at the time. I was 15 years old, but that is the one resonating moment that I have when I think about Chuy. That was like my first like time. Like I didn't even know Chuy at the time. I was just this little kid holding Rick Lee's records while he played 5 o'clock.
Right.
At the time, but I remember you turned around after announcing it and you started crying, and I was like, fuck,
Exciting.
Like, this
It was
is
big
real
news.
shit
It was
right
like we were all hoping for him to you know,
Yeah.
we've seen him get shot before.
Yeah.
And we were just hoping for the best. And when he didn't make it, it just hurt us all.
Yes. No. I remember, you know, that whole entire day. Like, you know, I was. This is when I used to stay on Rick Lee's couch.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to stay on his couch.
It's another
man.
couch you didn't want to stay on there, buddy. Son have been on that one too.
You might actually have. You might be telling the truth there, you know. But I remember just like, you know, like trying to fall asleep that night, and you know, just thinking about that very moment, like how deep that was. You know, I mean, I was like probably like maybe 2-3 weeks into being like Rick Lee's intern, and he just got the 5 o'clock mix. Even Rick was like, you know, blown away by like, yo, I don't know what to do. Like, play all Tupac. Like, he's like, yes, play all Tupac.
I remember, then that was a moment for obviously everybody in hip hop culture, but you know, for you specifically to be connected to that for so many people is legendary, and you've had many of those moments. But throughout your career, what would you say is something that you hold like near and dear to you in terms of something that you're just extremely proud to have been a part of, or you know, maybe it was an interview, or maybe it was an event or something specifically, or just an even interaction. But what are some of the moments in your career that, you know, you're probably most proud of? And
for me, it's just been being able to touch so many people, because like, you know, when you're broadcast, it's like right now I'm sitting in a room by myself, but you're touching so many people from being in that little room. You touch so many people from San Francisco to Sacramento. And so it was crazy, because on any given day you can hear us in Sacramento. And, you know, we covered everything from Fairfield, Antioch, Pittsburgh. You know, on the other side you go down to San Jose, Gilroy, Salinas. And so you never knew who was tuned in. And so when you crack that mic and you are just a part of people's lives, that just means so much. I mean, so that to me has been probably the most rewarding, to be able to be on somebody's radio and not have to worry about grandma getting mad because they're listening to the radio station. Because, you know, nowadays everything's about, you know, trying to get the most likes, the most blah, blah, blahs. And so that's never been me. My thing's always been, let me shout out grandma who's driving the kids to work because mom's at work. Or, you know, driving the kids to school because mom's at work, you know. So, you know, when you got people that have tuned in to Chuy, whether they were 3 years old in the car seat, or grandma who's 67 driving the kids to school, it's just I've always been family friendly. So that to me is what's been the most rewarding for me. It's not any specific event. It's just being a part of people's lives.
And that's the thing, is that, and I've always said this because you've probably experienced it too, E-Rock, like being out on the streets in the Bay Area, people come up to you, where's Chuy? That's like the number one question you get.
Number one thing.
You're riding around in the Cameo truck, where's Chuy? What's Chuy like? Like,
people would think Chuy was actually in the truck. Always. Hey, Chuy back there, where you at?
Always. And I say, and people have asked me about this, and I think, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the reason why you were such a factor in the Bay Area is because, like you mentioned with Rosary and, you know, talking to her but never really seeing the face, you were one of the first people that had a face for radio because of CMC. And I think that because of that, you were able to, you know, build your brand, and people had the immediate connection with you because we could see you. Because, I mean, you know, you listened to the radio on the way home from school, and then when you got home from school, you turned on CMC, and then you watched videos all day. And you were the first person that we actually knew what somebody looked like. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I got asked to do CMC because Andy Kawanami went there right out of, he was going to San Jose State, and he was a broadcast student at San Jose State. Him and Lee Poi was at school together.
Lee Poi.
And that's how them two met.
Yeah.
So my man Lee Poi still works at CMC with me to this day, because I still do CMC.
Yeah.
So when I was going, you know, I probably was still at Wild because that's when I met Andy. I met Andy at Wild. He says, yo, you know, we already have Rennell, we have Steve Masters, we have Mimi Chen, and we have like 2 other hosts. But, you know, why don't you come down there and come do some stuff for me? I'm kind of like over there, I'm working over there. come do some stuff. I don't want to do TV, Andy. It's not my thing. I like radio. I like this anonymity. I like being here. I like the fact that you don't see me. Come on down. I think you'll like it. Yeah, I'll do him a favor. So I go down there. I meet Rick, the owner, and Andy sells me, and they want to put me on, and I'm like, So they give me Wednesdays. At some point, they give me Wednesday. I do the Coca-Cola Classic on Wednesday. So I'm on every Wednesday. You got Rennell on a Tuesday. You got Mimi Chen that plays the rock on Fridays. You got Steve Masters on a Thursday. And I'm sandwiched in by, it was either Tuesday or Thursday. Rennell and Steve Masters were on either side of me. I don't remember at this point. But I was sandwiched between Rennell and Steve Masters. How can you lose? So I'm the host on Wednesdays. I'm the only not superstar yet because I'm, still one of the newer guys. But I'm doing Wednesdays on CMC. So, after a while, Mimi Chen leaves. They give me that day. Then later on, Steve Master leaves. They give me his day. Rennell leaves. They give me her day. Before you know it, CMC, the California Music Channel, is the Chuy Music Channel. Yeah. I'm on every day of the week.
Every day, yeah.
And I'm playing everything from now. There was no specific day because the specific day that Rennell did was strictly R&B and hip-hop. Steve Masters was Erasure and New Order and all Susie and the Banshees. And Mimi Chen was playing the rock stuff, the Metallicas and all that other stuff. And so now being the regular, I play everything on my show. Now the whole channel becomes a hodgepodge of everything. And then on Fridays, Andy took over Fridays, and he was doing Hip Hop Fridays. So Andy would play, the Mobb Deeps, the Wu-Tangs, the Nons, and then the Rappin' Fortes and the Mac Dre's and the Drew Downs and Too Shorts. He would play that on Fridays, and I play everything pop and everything else in between on the rest of the week. And that just put a face to the guys. And then after a while, I think we brought in Sway for a little bit. And Sway did CMC for a little bit. We had Mimi Chen. Right? No, what's her name? No, the girl that's on the Rio. What's her name?
Is that Miriam? Not Miriam.
No. Mariama wasn't there.
Nah, I forgot her name.
Jenny Mai, whatever. The girl that's on the Rio. She just married.
Oh, I know you talk about. Yeah. The one that's married to Young Jeezy.
Yeah, Jeezy.
Yeah,
Jeezy.
Just
married Jeezy.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I think it's Jenny May.
So we had her on CMC for 2 months.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
or maybe I just didn't know that it was her at the time until now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we put on Trace and Franz, and then they were a hit.
Yeah, obviously.
And
massive.
They Franz with his lighter every day with a different lighter, colored lighter on the show. But I've stuck it out. I've been there over 30 years now on CMC, and it keeps moving and grooving. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely put a face to the radio guy, and now people knew who I was, and people can see me when I walk into KFC's. Hey, that's Chuy.
Right. You're like, damn it.
Yeah,
do you remember the first moment when you first started getting the real recognition like that, or to the point where it was like, damn, I gotta move differently out here. Obviously you never have to worry about your safety or anything, but where it just becomes overwhelming, where it's I
never had to move differently because I've never was one of them dudes that had to worry about that. But it was definitely weird when people start recognizing you and your son. Because I used to have Darius sit on my lap.
Yeah.
Darius, grew up in people's faces. Yeah. So they knew who Darius was.
He was on your lap,
right. So he was sitting on my lap. Yeah. We're sitting there doing CMC together. So the funny thing is, not for me, but for Darius, when he's out at the mall with his grandmother and they walk into Foot Locker, that's Chuy's son. That's Chuy's son. And he's getting the discounts on the sneakers because that's Chuy's son.
That's
and his grandmother's bugging out. People really recognize this kid. What's up?
Yeah, and
so that was weird. That was the weird part. For me, it was okay. I'm standing. I'll tell you what the weirdest thing, besides people recognizing you by face, is when they recognize your voice.
Yeah.
The weirdest stuff is standing at Safeways, waiting to go pay for your stuff, and you're talking to your kids, and the lady in front of you, who you don't even think listens or would ever listen to your radio station, this suburban housewife, is standing in front of you, and she turns around and she goes, "Are you Chuy Gomez?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm listening to you talk to your kids." And I'm like, I know that voice. I know that voice.
That's incredible.
So that's the weirdest thing when you're talking and you're not even paying attention and you're saying something, and they go, that's Chuy. You're Chuy, right? Yeah. Like, that's weird.
That's got to be like the most amazing validation too, because in radio, obviously, it is your voice. So for somebody to just immediately recognize you for that, like that's like you're doing something right. Clearly,
that's dope.
Man,
you've never had to move differently in the Bay Area. Obviously, you're one of the most recognized figures. Like, you've never had like security or anything. No. Like, yo, you were just you, and yo, people can come up to you. People can say hi, and you'll sit there and converse with them. Like, that is Chuy.
And the funny thing is that's because of all the years in radio and CMC, and it's funny because like people will think that you're like their long lost uncle. Like, I grew up with you. Like, you've been in my life my whole time. I used to come. You were my babysitter. Do you realize you were my babysitter? My mom was at work. My dad was at work.
You're definitely mine.
Home and do my homework and watch you. You were watching me. I was a latchkey kid. It's Chuy and me, and then I would listen to you on the way to school. So you've been there my whole life, and I'm like, wow, that's a trip.
It is, man. You've been a part of so many people from, like you said, multiple generations. Like, you raised kids as kids. You know what I mean? Like, you've you've been around for grandparents who listen to you, and now their kids, and then their kids, and like
generational.
And speaking of generational and the new generation, you've got a new venture that you're starting out on. So congratulations on that, first of all, because
congrats,
like we've talked about, first of all, jobs in radio are just few and far between these days. It's
scarce.
It's one person doing 18 stations across the country, and and for you to be able to still do radio in the Bay Area it says something. So congratulations on that, but definitely let everybody know about what you got going on now. Yeah,
I'll be doing afternoons on 102 Jams. It's 102.1 on the FM dial. 102 Jams I'll be on doing afternoons, and that's my new venture. Just locked that in. Obviously, the station's building. We're trying to build the staff, and there's going to be more folks added to the bill. Hopefully, we'll bring back the mix shows, so we'll have some mix shows definitely on the station. But in the meantime and in between time, it's #1 for throwback. So if you remember growing up with Chuy Gomez on KMEL and back in the wild days, this is definitely a station for you, because you're going to hear everything from, Daniel Jones to Tupac, some Eric B. and Rakim. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but most, it's all throwbacks, man. So it's definitely everything you know.
I like it, and there's definitely a need for that too, because I'm just gonna be honest, I can't listen to the majority of the shit that's on the radio these days. I never.
Well, not just you though, because it's funny. My kids right now on a whole '90s kick.
Wow.
That's all they listen to. They're sitting. It's funny to watch them sing SWV songs and listening to Aaliyah songs, and they're huge Eazy-E fans right now.
Wow.
But it's just the funniest thing to me that these kids are on the '90s kick, and it's on fire. And so the station falls at a perfect time where folks have resonated with this '90s vibe, and it just brings so much joy to everybody. So for me, I'm super thrilled about this new addition to my life.
Nostalgic is winning right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really winning right now, especially what we went through for the last 2 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously.
This is winning too, bro. I don't know if you guys know, the cannabis business is big, bro.
Okay. Didn't even know you got that going on.
Yeah. I mean, yo, you want to talk about it real quick? You want to fill us in? What's going on?
I teamed up with these guys, Conscious Minds, to put out the Chuy High-Low. It's the first of a couple of brands that I've got. I'm working on a gummy brand.
Oh, shit.
But right now, if you need some flower in your life, check your local cannabis spot in the Bay Area. Soon to be shipping out to LA and Seattle. But right now, we're
concentrating. You got to get that out to Vegas.
Yeah, we got to get you to Vegas, man.
Let's get me in Vegas, bro. I'm trying to get it moving, yo. But yeah, definitely check for it. Chuy Gomez High-Low at your local dispensary. And get with the movement, and let's get it cracking.
Well, speaking of Brandon,
my kids got to go to school.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of kids and speaking of Brandon, I definitely want to shout out to Darius, because he got his Pesos clothing brand going, which is killing it right now. So big shout out to Darius. And if you guys, I don't know if the website specifically, but if you guys Google Pesos clothing, it'll definitely come up. He got all the Warriors wearing it. He's killing it right now, man. So big shout out to Darius with that.
Yeah. So yeah, go check it out. It's Dirty Pesos Worldwide. .com. So dirtypesosworldwide.com. Go check it out. Support young Darius. He's making movies every weekend, and that fool is jet setting.
He's out of here.
One day he was in at the playoffs game, and then he was over in LA, then he was in Vegas. And I can't, it's hard to keep up with Darius right now. He's a star.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, you know? He's a star just like his papa, you know what I mean?
Darius!
That's what's
I love
up, man.
it. I love it. I love it.
Got to be proud of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know your phone is ringing. Do you got to be anywhere? You got some time, or
I'm heading to a funeral in a little bit. A friend of mine's girlfriend never woke up, which is crazy, man.
Man, I'm so sorry
We're
to hear
losing
that.
people on a daily, bro, and it's sad out here. So live your life to the fullest, enjoy what you do, and love each other, man. So yeah, I got to step away in a little bit, but I'm still here for now.
It's all good, man. Well, again, we appreciate you, taking the time to jump on with us. You were definitely at the top of our wish list of people that we wanted to sit down and have a conversation with, and I'm just glad that you were able to accommodate. And when is the official start date for the new radio station?
Well, by the time this airs, I'll already be. Was supposed to start May 2nd.
Okay.
But now it's been pushed up to April 25th.
Oh,
so
shit.
as of
Oh,
April
wow. Getting
25th,
ready.
I start Monday.
The people are talking, man. The people need you.
Oh yeah, and it's been wonderful. I mean, I was out at a couple of 420 events, and Chew, blood, we just heard it because I started promoting it right before that because that's when I got the news I was going to be on the radio station. So I started putting it on a couple of social posts, and the retweets have been incredible. Talk about getting your flowers. I mean, people are like, dude, growing up in the Bay Area, we need to hear your voice at some point, man. So it's great to hear that you're going to be back on the radio, and I mean that's been great for me to be on Twitch and Instagram and Facebook, and now I'm trying to dive into these TikToks because my daughters are trying to push me on TikTok. I don't know if I could do all that, but being back on the radio is I'm juiced, man.
We want to see Chewy hit the gritty on TikTok. That's what we're looking for.
Man, yo, I can't do them dances, bro. Can you do them dances or no?
No.
Try it or no?
He's like, nah. I'll play the music, let the girls dance.
Right?
I'll be the DJ, let the girls dance.
Yep.
But we talked about it in the beginning of the episode. You just mentioned it now in terms of like, getting your flowers, and obviously you had an historical run at KMEL, and we were all devastated, for lack of a better word, when your time there ended. Kind of take us through that, because I know that you, like you said, you didn't initially intend on going to KMEL, but KMEL became your home, your family. You literally built that station to what it was and what it is now. How was that? I mean, because I don't think we've ever really talked about it.
Well, it's funny because it was super. It came out of left field because I had just come back from vacation. I had gone on vacation. I came back. I worked a week. Then I got called into the office on a Friday and said, we've decided to make some changes. We're going in a different direction, and we're gonna have to let you go. Okay, so do you want me to come in on Monday and say farewell? No, today's your last day. I just got off the air on Friday at 5 o'clock. I mean, at the time I was doing morning, so got off at 10. I was in the office at 10:30, 11. I was fired by 11:30. So I can't go. Nope, can't go. That's it. Thank you. We'll make arrangements for you to get your stuff. Somebody's going to walk you out of the building. I'm going to get walked out the building?
Been there.
Yeah,
20 years.
it's just protocol. We got to walk you out the building. What, you think I'm going to break a window or something because you fired me? It's like, bro, for real? I can't say goodbye? I can't say nothing? No. We're just going to go in a different direction. Thank you. Okay.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I was there at the station at that time, and I remember when it happened, and it was a dark, dark day in the building. I mean, like, it was like, a family, like we lost a family member. Like, it was a devastating, definitely time. But that's crazy. I didn't know that. Well, I guess I do know now, but I mean, yeah, the fact that they told you kind of after you shift and you never got a chance to, like you said, formally say goodbye, which is,
Nope.
The reason why, I immediately reached out to Miguel, DJ Mr. E, Papalote, Hi-Fi, El Pastor Papi. The guy's got more names than anybody, but him, Fran Boogie, My Motion, Vaughn, Scotty Fox. We were like, man, there's no way we're not going to let Chewy say goodbye to the Bay Area properly. And we put together an event that probably had one of the craziest turnouts. I mean, obviously, like you talk about, the big epic parties in the Bay Area, and obviously, My Motion, he's been a factor in terms of what he's done out there for the nightlife, and to be able to get everybody. I mean, like we reached out to everybody. Nobody asked for nothing. Nobody was like, they were just like, yep, whatever you need. Tell me when, tell me where, I'm going to be there.
Yeah, it was incredible. You guys put together an amazing lineup of DJs, all my favorites, including Saquon.
Big shout out to Sake, man.
Jay Boog showed up. A bunch of other rappers showed up. I think Be Legit, Richie Rich were there. But it was amazing. I mean, You guys got the mighty. You guys put together an incredible lineup, and it was just a celebration of Chuy. You guys had these T-shirts made and they happened all within a week.
Yeah, we moved
and
fast.
It was just overwhelming. Everybody came out. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I heard they let you go. Yo, bro, I'm sorry. And just the outpour of the DJs that came to support. You know, everybody, like I said, from Saquon to My Emotion to Big Body Cisco, D Sharp, Mr. E, everybody, Shortcut. Everybody was in the building. And it was amazing, and there's still pictures floating around, and every now and again I'll post one or two up for a Throwback Thursday. But it was just amazing the amount of love that was there. My mom, my sister, my brother were all there. You know, it was beautiful, and you know, thank you guys for doing that, because that definitely was, like I said, it was when I got my flowers from that, and then just everybody else was telling me on social media, because at that point social media kicked in. And social media went crazy, and folks were telling me how much I had touched their lives and how much I meant to their lives and stuff. So that was beautiful.
It was an honor, and I'm glad that we could do that for you. I mean, it was the least that we could do, really. But you know, again, I just want to take it back to the beginning. And speaking of flowers, again, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done, not for just me personally, but again, the entire Bay Area, the community of everything that you've been a part of in terms of, you know, being active in not only just events, but the actual community work and being out there and being the face for the Bay Area, man. I could never thank you enough, and you know, I love you, bro.
Thank you, bro. Love you too, E-Rock, bro. You my little brother, bro.
Man, yo, you know, it's crazy. It's like we were talking, like, what, it was like yesterday about, like, you know, how far, like, all of us have came. You know what I mean? Like, here I am, like, now I mean, it was 1995, 96 when my first radio mix aired on your show. It was a 15-minute mega mix that I shared with Rob Reyes, and I would alternate Fridays. But literally, that was like the first moment that literally led to where my life is today. So, like, you know, I echo everything Kevin says. Like, yo, I wouldn't be here today without you giving me my shot. I appreciate you. And, you know, I mean, it's an honor, you know, for when people ask me, like, hey, where did you get your start, man? I started on the Chew show, on the Chew Dog show, man. So, you know, it's damn, I'm kind of getting a little choked up because I'm thinking about everything that I've been through. It's like, you know, from all the ups and all the downs, but it started there.
Yeah,
it started there, man.
I mean, the cameo pedigree was just incredible. I mean, from Sway to Larry Jackson to E-Rock to Box Kev to Franzen to, you know, everybody that has come through Cameo has done something incredible. Foxy Brown was in movies, you know, Your Mama's House, you know, David Harness producing different house remixes. You know, the pedigree's just incredible. So being a part of that line of folks that just touch so many folks and have done so much, it feels good, bro.
Well, it started at the top, and obviously you were at the top of that food chain, man. So, you know, we all learned it from watching you, my brother.
Thank you.
100%, man. Well, thank you again for your time. Guys, make sure you check out Chuy in the Bay Area. He's going to be doing afternoons on what is it, 102.1 Jams?
102 Jams, 102.1 on the FM dial, baby.
You got the moniker right up there on the screen, so make sure you follow him on all social media. Stay up to date with this man's doing, because he's never stopped. Probably never will. So keep going hard, brother. We appreciate you again. That's going to wrap it for us. That's another episode of The Hot Box. Myself, Box Kev, DJ E-Rock.
And my cough, I apologize. Yeah. I've been coughing throughout the whole episode, man. It's just
South City,
terrible.
Remember, South San Francisco's flamboyant. Come on, man.
Holla.
There he is.
You already know what it is, man. It's The Hot Box. Thank you.